comes in Sekibo, Rivers East. Mr. President, when there is war, and then the armies are fighting, let's say the Northeast, and then we are here, we only receive the news. They are fighting, 200 Boko Harams have been destroyed, enemy camp has been bombed. But today, the war is against every person, and every person has to fight. How do you fight it? You don't know. Suggestions: social distancing, put a mask on your nose and mouth, as I've done now, like a masquerade, put on hand gloves. But Mr. President, I want to appreciate, as the motion states, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He may not have done all we expected, but that somebody is leading us at this time is very important. At the period, at the point of a crisis in an aircraft, if you hear that the pilot is no longer there, either he flew out or he is dead, you already have dead. But thank God he's there. I sincerely appreciate the medical workers who are in the forefront of this battle. And we had, all over the world, many of them have been affected. And in Nigeria too, a few of them have been affected. And by the grace of God, some of them have also recovered. And we pray that the same God that creates Nigeria should on our behalf give those medical officers who are affected health back again. Because if they are not here, then we all lose hope. I regret the number of people that have died during this period. And I think on behalf of our people, we condole with ourselves, their families, and every other Nigerian. Mr. President, like my leader has said, this has now brought us to look inward. Is there nothing Nigeria can do? We are in Nigeria hearing that some of the best scientists in America are Nigerians, in the UK are Nigerians. We hear all those good stories. And we also know that we have very, very intelligent and smart scientists in this country. Can't we look for internal solutions? Solutions without waiting for people at outside. Our land scientists have come out to say that they have the way of producing something that can solve this problem. Are we giving them some support? Are we giving them some help? If we have not, let us look inside. Look inward. Thank you, my brother. Mr. President, NCDC, I'm sure they have a standard laboratory.
Yeah, 10 seconds.
All right, no problem, I'll summarize. Mr. President, we have standard laboratories that we can make use of and encourage our scientists to also work hard and come out with some solutions for us. Finally, Mr. President, we have to go back to the beginning, to our beginning. When granite was a mainstay for this country, palm produce was a mainstay of this country, cocoa was a mainstay of this country, agriculture was very important. This one has told us that the oil we are depending on will one day be vanished, and then we will have some problems. We have to go back to our bases. Then, as a nation, finally, sir, finally,
you have 10 seconds.
Please, let us go back to 2 Chronicles 7:14. God said, when my people, who are called by my name, humble themselves, come and seek my face and confess, I will forgive them of their sins and then heal the land and give them salvation. Amen. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Senate Deputy.
Is to appreciate all of us because we are in a very dangerous times in the history of humanity. And like my colleague said, we need to return to God, all of us. At the risk of repeating what had been said, let let me caution that it is a common knowledge that majority of Nigerians, not all, majority of Nigerians are fond of taking advantage of situations that they shouldn't do. I'm talking about where we are now, those of us that are given responsibility to watch over these things that require funding. Let us be, as much as possible, demonstrate statesmanship because the lives of Nigerians are involved. We know that what is happening is uncommon, and it has, I don't want to talk about the economy because we are paying dearly for being a stiff-necked people, for ignoring an anthem that has been on our lips for a long time, that let us diversify. We will speak and it will not be in our heart. For a long time, by the time we had heeded this warning or this anthem that we had been singing, for now we'll have fallen back to agriculture. Now, to even produce oil is a huge burden on us. And that is why we will be prepared to pay the huge price. And I pray the Lord God will help us. Lastly, Mr. President, we are confused about the origin of this pandemic. There are a lot of controversial and sometimes scandalous theories associated with the origin of this. I want to caution us as a nation that we must be careful in dealing with foreign powers so that we don't end up mortgaging Nigeria as a nation to a foreign power that is testing for new colonialism, that is battling to control nations or regions across Africa. For we have become a very vulnerable nation, and most of the powers are battling how they can exert control. It's a new form of colonialism that is wriggling out now. May the Lord God help us. And like my colleague said, those of us that play religion and are doing another thing, let us intensify our zeal for serving God. Let us not play politics with serving God because the time may no longer be there. Don't afford to be taken unawares. Thank you, Mr. President, for this opportunity.
Senator Kabirga.
Recognition to make my contribution to this very, very important motion moved by all the members of the Senate. Mr. President, I don't want to repeat my colleagues, but I want to go straight to the issue. Number one is the role of National Center for Disease Control in this fight. This organization is a very young one, which the 8th Assembly brought into being, with laboratories in Lagos, in Abuja, and Irua. Today, with the enormity of the challenges facing all of us today, we have seen that we have not done much as a country. We are using this opportunity to urge the executive to allocate money where it is much needed. The NCDC has been expanding, trying to get to the 36 states of the Federation on an emergency basis. Mr. President, the health of the country, the nation, is at stake. We cannot afford to be reactionary in issues that have to give everything that is needed. And that's finance to the NCDC. You have to, this is opportunity that we expect the executive to do all the necessary that is expected to make sure that they are doing what they should be doing. Because they have shown capacity, even with little, that they can do much, Mr. President. Then the other issue I want to discuss about this is that we have seen that the health infrastructure in this country is lacking. we don't have isolation centers. You can imagine the teaching hospitals in various states, in various duplicate zones. Most of them don't have any. It took the visit of the senior president here, leading the leadership, to Gwagwalada, the teaching hospital at Gwagwalada, to discover that we don't have anything. With that intervention, we made effort. Without it, we wouldn't have anything at the FCT here. That's how bad it is. If for the federal capital and the capital of the country, with such challenge, you can imagine what happens in the hinterlands. So we really have to do so much and make sure that not only that the NCDC expands, but the state governments will have to put the infrastructure, not just temporary one now, using stadiums and all that as associations that no, we want something permanent. Then the other issue I want to address is the challenge that is facing the professionals in this country, the health professionals and scientists. Mr. President, we have seen a lot of pictures, a lot of video clips on social media going one place to the other, showing what other countries are doing. Now, Mr. President and my colleagues here, Nigerians don't lag behind in anything. We may have problem of leadership, but not the competence. Nigerians everywhere in part of the world are all showing that they are first to be reckoned with in everything. So, Mr. President, I am begging and saying that this is opportunity for the professionals in Nigeria to rise to the occasion. We need to have made in Nigerian answer to this COVID pandemic. We cannot depend on other countries outside there to give it to us here. Not minding the assistance we are getting from World Health Organization, not minding what we are getting from development partners, but Nigeria have to rise to the occasion. And all we are asking is that let the executive give the needed support that is needed, financial support. Let these people go into the drawing board, on the drawing board, and do something to solve this problem once and for all. And then again, finally, Mr. President, I want to say that the Ministry of Health have been having challenges in terms of finances, with the result that the handling of the activities of the Ministry of Agriculture, Finances, is done in the Agri Department, Ministry of Agriculture. I'm using this opportunity to plead that while we are doing this, in that the finances of Ministry of Health should return to Ministry of Health, not Ministry of Agriculture. That's the only way they can get things done here and face the challenges. If we blame the Ministry of Health, we know that they also have challenges that are facing them. Let this, through this motion we are having here today, assist them to be responsible, so that if they fail, we know that they have failed. I thank you so much.
Senator Uche Ekwunefe.